right, hello from my side. My name is Dominique. I work at the IT security research group at the University of Münster, and together with Stefan, Laube and Böhme, we explored the phenomenon of users covering their webcam. So first of all, I want to ask you, who of you actually has a cover on the laptop camera? Is there anyone? Oh, I see quite some hands. Well, in Germany, it's quite a common phenomenon as we observed. So there are many users with bright stickers or patches on their laptop cameras. So it came into our mind that, okay, there exists an online privacy behavior that people adopt and that is directly visible to us researchers. So as there are many open questions regarding the adoption of privacy behavior, this motivated us to get to know more about it. So it seems that people might be concerned about something. So we looked if there are actual reports about attacks on webcams. And there actually are some. So we found reports about men spying on women for their own pleasure, or attackers blackmailing victims with the obtained footage. We also found reports about firms spying on their own employees in order to track them, and reports about the FBI being able to spy on webcams. So James Comey, who's of course now in the news for something else, but he once claimed that even he covers his webcam. So this kind of shows that these concerns are not that unjustified. So yes, there are reports, but we don't find real scientific proof of actual attacks. And still it seems that a high amount of people is concerned, and we actually already conducted a study in 2016, and we found that a third of our participants actually made use of a webcam cover. And we also made some other observations. Through interviews, we found that the opinion of the social environment plays an important role in the decision to cover the webcam, and also whether the cover was perceived as practical for the laptop users. However, the study had major deficiencies. The research design was not sufficiently accurate, leaving us with unreliable results. So we got a rough idea, but still we needed more research to these deficiencies. So what we want to know in this study that I present now is who are these people that cover the webcam and what distinguishes them from those who do not. So we want to find the relationship between users' personal characteristics and their actual adopted privacy behavior, and this sums up our research question. So how did we proceed? First, we considered it important to base our research on established psychological theory. Actually, we used the theory of planned behavior. And this theory is used for studying several types of behaviors. It basically says that an individual's behavior is influenced by their intention, and the intention is influenced by someone's attitudes, so basically positive or negative evaluations of the behavior, as well as subjective norms, so opinions from other people about performing this behavior, and perceived behavioral control, which means is the person capable, or does the person feel capable of performing the behavior, or will he succeed with this behavior? So since we found in our first study that indicators such as social aspects and attitudes play an important role, this theory appears highly suitable for our purpose. We actually adjusted it slightly, so we left out the intention aspect as we investigate privacy behavior that has already been performed. This is not interesting for us, so this is our final research model. So how did we obtain the data? Well, as I already indicated, webcam covering is a behavior that is directly observable in face-to-face studies. So what we did was we actually went to public places such as trains or cafes or libraries, basically anywhere with free Wi-Fi, and we looked at laptop users' cameras, whether they are covered or not. And afterwards, we approached these laptop users independently of whether they used a cover or not, and we handed them a questionnaire. So basically, the behavior was directly observed in this face-to-face field study, and the personal characteristics were obtained through self-reporting. So regarding the creation of the questionnaire items, we used the approach by Isaac Eisen, who was the founder of the theory of planned behavior. And what we did was we used several items for each construct, And we obtained these items by conducting a small pre-survey with open-ended questions, and we also iteratively pre-tested the questionnaire several times in order to make sure that the items are well developed. So despite these TPB items, we also included other aspects which might correlate with webcam covering behavior. So after all these methodological considerations, what did we actually find out? So first of all, for the analysis, we used partial least squares, which is suitable for similar path models, as all effects are estimated simultaneously, thus the influence of third variables is controllable. So first you can see that the constructs are reflected by the respective items, and these are the actual path coefficients of the inner model. And we can see that each coefficient is significant, meaning that attitudes, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control all significantly influence webcam covering behavior. And our R-square, which indicates the overall model fit, is also adequate. So what does it actually tell us? Regarding attitudes, we find that users with webcam covers are more likely to feel comfortable with knowing that they cannot be watched through their webcam. And in turn, they even feel highly uncomfortable or tend to feel highly uncomfortable when sitting in front of a laptop without a cover. Additionally, users with covers even tend to feel watched by someone their cover is not attached. And another aspect is perceived distraction. So users without covers told us that they would be distracted by the cover. For example, when being at a Skype call or having to engage in many video conferences, it's not that convenient to take it off and on every time. So regarding attitudes, we have two main aspects: the usability and the comfortable feeling which is promoted by a cover. So now let's move to the second construct, which is subjective norms. And as I indicated, webcam covering is visible, so people talk about it. And we found that users with covers are likely to have been convinced by a specific person in their social surrounding, for example, a coworker or family member who convinced them to use a cover when they did not. What's also important was the feeling of embarrassment. Actually, we found that people without webcam covers told us they would be embarrassed if others would spot the cover. They even said that they would be perceived as paranoid. So we have these two groups. Basically, the one group that perceives confirmation by their surrounding, and the other group who is scared of being perceived as kind of strange. So the last construct is perceived control. And as users with webcam covers actively do something to protect their online privacy, they tend to have a feeling of obtaining more control over their online privacy through this measure. And they feel to protect themselves from various attacker types. So mainly they want to protect against criminals, but also intelligence agencies and people within their social surrounding, for example, an ex-boyfriend who installs some software to remotely control your webcam. So gaining more control is an important aspect for users who cover the webcam. We have some additional findings related to the theory of planned behavior. As I just indicated, users want to obtain more control through a cover, but this might also be related to distrust in the indicator light that is placed next to most webcams. So the small light which indicates whether your webcam is active or not. And people perceive it as ineffective, and this has also been confirmed in 2 former studies. What is also interesting, 6% of our sample covers their webcam because they think they had actually been victims of attacks on their webcams. Another 12% were influenced by reports from the media. So maybe you've heard from this picture from Mark Zuckerberg, where it was visible that he also covers his notebook webcam. So actually people told us that they remembered this picture and that they covered the webcam after seeing this. Of course, not only laptops, but also other devices have cameras. But only 4% actually of all of our participants also cover their smartphone camera. This is mainly because of inconvenience. Of course, you want to take some pictures with your camera, and this is not convenient to take it off and on anytime. So before it was obvious in the study that our participants, for our participants that our study was about webcam covering, we asked them how concerned they are actually about webcam spying. And what is surprising is that the majority of our participants was highly concerned. Actually, 57% stated to be highly concerned. But we don't find any correlation with concern and webcam covering behavior. So we even put this variable into our PLS model, and there were no significant influences. Another interesting finding is that people without any IT knowledge are more likely to cover their webcam. Actually, 46% of all people claiming to have no knowledge at all cover the webcam, while there are only 25% of self-claimed IT experts cover the webcam. And these results lead us to the implications we can draw from the findings. Basically, there's a trade-off between privacy protection and convenience. And this is, of course, not only the case for webcam covering, but for many other online privacy measures. So our findings highlight that high privacy concerns do not solely drive users to protect their privacy. The measure also has to be convenient to use, and it should be accepted and promoted by the social surrounding. Thus, the intuitiveness of webcam covering should serve as an example for designing other more effective privacy measures. Additionally, the findings should also be considered when talking about other devices with cameras. So more and more wearables are also equipped with cameras, and so privacy concerns about such cameras need to be addressed. So for example, with integrated mechanisms and integrated solutions. So I also want to mention the limitations of our study. I want to mention that the majority of our study were students. This is because we performed the study in a college town in Germany, and we performed this study in Germany, so it might be that Germans tend to be more likely to cover their webcams, so other countries need to be observed in this aspect, so future research needs to observe a more representative sample. So let me conclude my points. Webcam covering, as I said, is an observable online privacy behavior in face-to-face studies. And instead of concerns, users' decision to cover their webcam is influenced by their attitudes, subjective norms, and perceived control over their privacy. The theory of planned behavior is highly suitable for analyzing privacy behavior, and designers of privacy-enhancing technologies should take the intuitiveness of webcam covering as an example for developing other solutions. So the takeaway of my talk is not cover your webcam, but consider theory of planned behavior for studying privacy behavior, and maybe also cover your webcam, because why not? Yeah. Thank you.
We have time for several questions.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Davidson from Mozilla. I'm wondering if you had any ideas about why there was no correlation between privacy concern and webcam covering?
Actually, I think because when you ask people about being concerned and about the topic specifically, less people would say, okay, no, this doesn't matter to me at all, because when you think about being attacked by someone, this sounds kind of scary. And this has also been found in several other studies as well. So there's a theory called the privacy paradox. Maybe you've heard of it. It basically says that people are concerned but don't act accordingly. So this is a widely observed phenomenon. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Florian Schaub from the University of Michigan. Thank you. Very interesting study. So people cover webcams, but people don't tend to cover microphones and other sensors, right? Like, what's your take on that?
Yeah, it's mainly usability aspects. So I think it's probably inconvenient, and it's also not that easy to cover the microphone, actually. So when you try it and test it, it's not that easy. And the same aspects for the microphone on the smartphone. So My take on that is that usability is more important than concern. So such solutions need to be integrated into devices so that users actually do that.
Hi, I am Ida Larsen-Lidet from Aarhus University. Maybe I didn't catch it, but you mentioned that some users had actually had their webcams hacked and that's why they covered them. But did you inquire into users who had their webcams hacked and didn't cover them? Did you find anything regarding that?
Actually, there were no users that were attacked and did not cover the webcam afterwards. So
I know they exist, so maybe you want to do another study on that?
Okay.
Hi, very, very interesting talk.
Thank you.
I don't usually cover my webcam, but I've considered covering it as a symbolic act to bring attention to the privacy issues that facing us by using kind of network technology. Did you encounter anything like that in your study?
Well, we had this construct of the social impact, and we actually observed that people talk about this. And we also asked people whether they use it as a statement, but that was not very dominant. So not many people actually said that they used it as a statement, such as you do. So maybe that's more common among researchers, I guess. Thank you.
Hi, one last question. Did any of the people you interviewed use their laptop cameras for biometric sign-in? And was that an inconvenience?
We actually did not ask this question, but this is a very interesting point, so thank you. We should consider that, yeah.
And I actually have a question. So we know that devices aren't necessarily always a singular person's device, that they're shared amongst family members or friends.
Yeah.
Did you guys ascertain whether it was a shared device or a personal device? And if it was shared, how did that behavior of that individual kind of influence the network of people that use those tools?
Yeah, so we asked the people if the laptop they were using were their own ones, and mainly we found that when it was their work device, when it was covered, it was mandatory from their employer, but when it was not, mainly the work devices were not covered. And but the majority of our sample actually owned their device, so we don't have like representative data about this. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.